Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. Tonight, we are here with the Leave the Pack Super Series. In case you missed it, make sure later on at some point you go check out the Leave the Pack Street Stock Series finale. Heck of a race there at the Linear National Speedway. But now, it is time for some super late model action here at the Stafford Speedway. Caleb Thompson on track in the 04 machine making his qualifying run. Race 11 of 12 on the season, the penultimate round before the championship race next week at Linear. 150 lap shootout between the best of the Leave the Pack Super Series, the longest race of the season. Sorry, this tied for the second longest race. We ran 150 at Myrtle Beach. I forgot about that. Mark Keteman, quick time here tonight in the 2. James Pileski's second right now. A couple drivers still have yet to make a lap time. Brandon Elvis working his first lap. We'll see what he can do. Winner earlier tonight in the Street Stock Showdown. First lap for Elvis. Put him second quick with an 18:87. Just a little bit off of Mark Keteman's time. He's got 2 more laps. We'll see if he can improve from that 18:87. Across the line, white flag. Second lap around for Elvis, a little bit slower. Chris Smith jumps up to the second spot. And look at that, Carter Russo to the top of the board in the 21 and 18:79. So far this season, Mark Keteman has been pretty solid in qualifying. He was quick time last week at Oswego. But Carter Russo picking up the pole so far for the first time since New Smyrna back in week number 2. Justin Coleman on track in the green at number 14 here tonight. We'll see what he's able to do down into turns 1 and 2. Working his first lap. We've got 13 cars here tonight. Coleman, the last car to take time. Through turns 3 and 4, the white flag going to be displayed. Or sorry, the 2 to go signal going to be displayed. These drivers given 3 laps, not 2. As Coleman's trying to figure this thing out. Did not get much practice time. He's a little bit off the pace. We'll see what he's got on lap number 2. That one looked a little bit better. Into the top 10. 9th quick with an 18:95. He's got a little bit more to go if he wants to jump up to the top 5. Down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be checkers right here across the stripe. Where can Justin Coleman go? And he'll keep that 9th spot. Picked it up a little bit, but he'll keep that 9th position. So that's going to do it for qualifying. Carter Russo, quick time in both races here tonight. This one, though, he's not going to be jumping to the rear at the beginning, so we'll see what he can do in 75 laps. But let's grab a word from him and see if we can't talk to him up in the broadcast booth. Carter Russo up in the booth once again here tonight. You got a copy?
And 4.
Alrighty, well, quick time in both divisions here tonight. We've got about a minute left here in the qualifying session for you to settle in and kind of get your game plan around. What is your game plan going into 75 laps at Stafford?
The only thing I know is to keep the right front on it. I don't really know. I've never really raced here in the Super. I don't really race here in much at all. I'm not a huge fan of this track, but yeah, I don't really know. Just keep marking my mirror for sure and keep the right foot on it. About all I can do.
Yeah, the right front definitely going to be a big key here tonight. These corners are very long, and you got to use a lot of front tire to turn the race car. So the key tonight definitely going to be saving the tires, but you'll have a better view for the start of this one, not going to the rear in the super late models. But 75 laps ahead of you. Good luck, Carter. Hopefully we can talk to you later on.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, that was your fast qualifier here tonight for the second time as qualifying wraps up. These drivers are given a 5-minute session, so everybody went pretty quick there. Got their qualifying laps done and out of the way. And now it is time to jump down trackside for tonight's starting lineup. We've got 13 cars coming to the green. And we'll see who's got what it takes to come away the winner here after 75 laps of action. So we'll go down trackside and look at your starting field right there. Up on screen, your starting lineup. Carter Russo in the 21 on the pole with an 18.797. Mark Keteman in the number 2 machine will roll off from that second spot. Then it's Chris Smith in the 80 on the inside of row number 2. Brandon Elvis, your winner earlier on in the street stock, is going to start outside of row number 2. James Pileski in the 93 will start on the inside of row 3. And Brian Grable in the 22 to his outside in the 6th spot. Zach Murphy in the 29 still looking for his first Super Series win. He'll start 7th. Caleb Thompson, his Race Room 3 teammate, will start 8th. Justin Coleman in the 14 will start on the inside of row number 5. And then he'll have Jeremiah Woods Jr. to his outside in the 10th spot in the triple twos. Back behind them, rounding out our field, it's Brady Cox in the 76, Logan Drumheller in the 5, and Brandon Kelly in the 9 machine, rounding out our 13-car starting field. And now, folks, it is time to send them back green flag racing here in the Leave the Pack Super Series. 1 to go signal given to these drivers. We're going to send them green for 75 laps of action next time around. Pace car gets a little bit of space in between itself and the field. Into turns 3 and 4. The 21 machine of Carter Russo pulls the field into the restart zone. It is in the hands of the iRacing starter. The green is up, the green is out, and we are underway. Good jump there from Mark Keteman in the outside lane. He's going to go straight to the front, and that is exactly what Carter Russo did not want to happen. Keteman got a great jump there, and he'll lead into turns 3 and 4 on lap number 1. Mark Keteman back out front here in the Super Series. 1 lap in at Stafford. As we start to settle in, James Pileski underneath Brian Grable in the 22. Grable up top. Here comes Zach Murphy to the bottom as well. Everybody trying to get into their rhythm here early. And the key tonight is definitely going to be tires. Track position is going to be key, but tires is going to be the name of the game. You want to save those and make them last the whole race. You're not going to be able to win if those last 10 laps you're hanging on for your life. So we'll see who can play the game the best here tonight as we watch Zach Murphy move to the inside of Brian Grable. If you saw the WD Broadcasting Network Facebook post today, you saw that the 29 of Zach Murphy, that guy right there, actually has the most starts in Leave the Pack iRacing, or in the Leave the Pack iRacing League. This after the street stock race earlier, and this tonight makes number 57 for Zach Murphy. We'll see if number 57 is the one that gets him his first super late model victory. Back behind, Justin Coleman, now trying to be the next driver to sneak alongside the 22 of Brian Grable. And back behind them, a little bit of an interesting storyline coming into this week. If you watched last week at the Oswego Speedway, you'd understand why this car looks the way it does. Brady Cox wrecked his car last week pretty bad at the Oswego Speedway. Luckily, Elvis Coleman Racing was generous enough to give him Brandon Elvis's backup car. They threw the 76 on the side of that machine, and he's currently running in the 9th position. Back behind him, Caleb Thompson underneath Jeremiah Woods. That's the battle for 10th. Thompson down low, able to move back in front of the triple twos. Thompson got into the wall pretty early on in the exit of 4. I think it might have been lap 1. You can see the damage on the right front of that race car. Doesn't seem to be affecting him too much early on, but something to keep an eye on for sure. Back up in front, Mark Keteman leads the field through turns 1 and 2. We are just about 10 laps into this one. Kedeman has a 1.5 second advantage over Carter Russo right now. Russo running second. Brandon Elvis third. Chris Smith fourth. Everybody pretty similar on positions right now to when they started. Brian Grable back 2 spots. He saw him get shuffled up to that outside lane, and that's how quickly it can happen. The outside is not your friend here at Stafford Speedway, so it's going to be a fight for that inside lane all night long. Your field currently running single file. Kedeman leads down into turns 1 and 2. You can see the gap that he's been able to pull so far. A huge gap. And oh, Pileski into the wall in the 93. I think there was contact with the 29 of Murphy right there, and Pileski went up into the outside wall. He's able to hang on to the race car and get it back going, but he's going to lose 2, maybe 3 spots there. Back to the 8th position here on lap 13. Through turns 3 and 4 that time. Brandon Elvis in the 3rd spot trying to close in on Carter Russo. He was a little bit quicker that last time. So we look at those drivers right there. Both Elvis and Smith a little bit quicker than Carter Russo, so they're starting to close that gap. But passing is definitely going to be a tough task here tonight. It always is at the Stafford Speedway. You can maybe get to the inside of somebody, but usually for one corner, that outside lane, you're able to hang on. But we'll keep an eye on what happens here later on. As here comes Caleb Thompson to the inside of Brady Cox, move him up into the 9th position. Back up in front of him, the battle for the 2nd spot heating up. Brandon Elvis has closed the gap to the back bumper of Carter Russo. The newly crowned Street Stock Showdown champion of Season 2. Brandon Elvis right there in the 54. Still looking for that first Lead the Pack Street Stock, or Lead the Pack Super Series win, sorry. Elvis and Kedeman both have a win in 3 of the 4 top LTP divisions. Both still looking for that final. Elvis needs 1 here in the Supers. Mark Kedeman needs 1 in the late model division. Kedeman does have 1 advantage, though, over Elvis. He's got a victory in the Mini Stock Madness Series. So if he wins in the late models, he can really say he won in all divisions of Leave the Pack. As Mark Kedeman enjoys his 3-second advantage across the line that time, he has really opened up the gap. Just 20 laps into this one. As James Pileski in the 93 around, he's in the pits there. What happened to James Pileski? We'll jump back, and it looked like he got the wall and might have called it a night there by himself. Up into the outside wall, lost a ton of ground and brought it down pit side. And Pileski called it a night there. You see the contact. Not happy about the way that car was handling. Was running outside of the top 5. And that is going to end the night for the 93. Elvis in the 54 has got Chris Smith, Zach Murphy, and Justin Coleman right there behind him. All lined up behind this 21 machine. And if you're Carter Russo, you see that line behind you. You gotta try to fight for this position hard, because you know that if you get shuffled up to that outside lane, you're gonna go backwards in a hurry. Elvis trying to move up the racetrack to get a run up off the corner. We'll see if he's able to do it. Big time sideways there, able to hang on. Through turns 3 and 4 that time. We work lap number 24 now. Just about a third of the way into this one. Now Elvis all over the back bumper of Carter Russo. Needing to find a way around here pretty quickly. Down into 1 and 2. Elvis still taking that wider arc through the center of the corner right there. And you look at the run that he gets down the back straightaway. See if he's able to set up the pass here underneath Carter Russo. He's trying to back off that corner entrance to get a good run to the bottom. But Russo once again shuts the door right there. Brandon Elvis down on the apron, up off the exit of the corner, just trying to find a way to get to the inside of the 21 machine. He's been close a couple times, but Russo's been able to shut the door. Russo way up the racetrack that time. That's going to sacrifice a little bit of his speed, but a big run down the back straightaway. Going to allow him to hang on for now. But you look at the line of cars behind the 54 of Brandon Elvis. Chris Smith right there. They're getting pretty close to the back bumper. As Brandon Elvis works down the back straightaway. Those two very similar on the exit of the corner, and that's what's allowing that's what's allowing Russo to keep that position for now. Up front, your race leader starting to back it off a little bit is Mark Keteman. Really must have looked at that gap and saw how much time he had in front of Carter Russo. He has started to back off that 2 machine to save some of the tires on that race car. Russo continuing to hold that second spot, but he's got a line right back behind him. Keteman's got a huge advantage, but there is a line of cars wanting to get around this 21 of Carter Russo. Russo's holding on for now, but you gotta wonder when Brandon Elvis is going to make that move to the bottom. Russo hard on the binders right there. Elvis had to check up on the entrance of the corner. And Russo is going to be able to hang on once again. Keteman's gap dwindling. Now down to a 1.85. So it's second taken out of that gap that we saw earlier on. We continue to watch this battle for the second spot. The field works their way down the back straightaway. And you can really see the difference in lines. Everybody a little bit different down into turns 3 and 4. But they're all right there in a line. Elvis really close to the back bumper this time. He's going to try to shoot that car up the racetrack and get a run off. But Russo so strong through the center, able to shut the door down into 3. And that's what we've been seeing for quite some time now. Russo's just been too strong through the center for Elvis to have a shot to the inside. This time around, it will be halfway for Mark Keteman. Halfway in, halfway home, as he tries to hang on for his 8th win of the season. 7 wins on the campaign so far for Mark Keteman, trying to make it number 8 here tonight, as we have been clean and green from the drop of the green flag. Halfway in, halfway home. We're going to take a quick step away here on the WD Broadcasting Network, and we'll be right back when we return. Alrighty, folks, back here at the Stafford Speedway. Just shy of 30 laps to go. Lap car Brandon Kelly up in front of your field. Mark Keteman extending that lead back out to 2.6 seconds. And when we get back around this time, it'll be 30 laps to go for your points leader and likely champion of the Leave the Pack Super Series. He has been dominant this season at 1.14 races in a row. And now trying to pick up win number 8. Brandon Elvis still has not been able to find a way around the 21 of Carter Russo. This whole pack right there, nobody really falling off. That's what's most interesting to me. Everybody is all right there in that little pack and not able to move forward. Elvis hugging that inside line, trying to get a run up off the corner, but Russo is able to pull a little bit on the exit of each corner and keep that second position. .25 laps to go when Mark Keteman gets back around this time. Brandon Elvis closing the gap nearly into the back bumper of Carter Russo there into turn 3 that time. Is this where we see the move? Elvis gets a good run up off the corner. He's going to show the nose down there. Tries to force a lane inside, but Russo going to be able to hold strong on the outside lane. Let's see what happens down the back straightaway. It looks like Elvis once again tucking in line behind the 21 of Carter Russo. .23 to go. Carter Russo and Brandon Elvis still continuing to battle. Nearly contact down into turns 1 and 2. That time Chris Smith starting to put the pressure on Brandon Elvis. Saying, dude, it's time to get around that 21 machine. We've got to go. Still right there is Brandon Elvis. Now your race leader, Mark Keteman, about 3.1 seconds ahead. He'll work down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. It'll be 20 to go this time for Mark Keteman. In search of win number 8 on the season. And with the way things are looking right now, it's probably going to happen. 20 laps to go, 3.3 second advantage. We've not seen the caution flag fly in this race. It'll be 19 to go. Carter Russo still trying to hang on to the second spot, but the pressure continuing to grow from Brandon Elvis. Down into turns 3 and 4. You can see how close that 54 machine is to the back bumper. Just barely not hitting it up off the corner. .17 to go across the stripe that time. You can see Mark Keteman down the back straightaway doing everything that he needs to do. Stretching this lead out as big as it has been, 3.8 now through the center. Elvis having a very difficult time getting to the inside of Carter Russo, and here comes the move. Russo going to have to give way that time. A little bit of contact through the center. Elvis going to pull alongside. They're sideways down the back straightaway into turns 3 and 4. Here comes Brandon Elvis for second. We knew this move would happen. 15 laps to go now. Russo going to be stuck up top. There goes Chris Smith in the 80 machine trying to follow suit, and now it's like Carter Russo's just thrown an anchor out the back of the car. Here comes Zach Murphy trying to pass by on the bottom as well. Brian Gravel in the 22 also wanting to go through. An contact there, nearly gets into the back bumper of Murphy, I should say. And Carter Russo up the track. Murphy was not going to let that door shut just yet, and they'll make contact. We're side by side. Coleman into the wall back behind. And Murphy will take that spot away. Moves Zach Murphy to 4th. Brian Gravel trying to take 5th, but Carter Russo finally going to be able to get back in line. Justin Coleman brings that 14 machine pit side. Was running 6th at the time. But he is going to call it a day. It'll be 11 to go this time for Mark Keteman. 11 more times around. Chris Smith right there in the 80 machine. Still battling with Brandon Elvis. Continuing what we saw last race in the street stocks at Lanier. To go for your race leader, Mark Keteman. Elvis in the 54 having to hang on. He's going to get a lot of pressure here from Chris Smith towards the end. It looks like the 80 might have a little bit better tires, as he was just riding behind Brandon Elvis as opposed to trying to pass the 21 of Carter Russo. Looks like Smith might have a little bit more grip in the tires, but Elvis is doing a good job hanging on for now. Back behind them, Carter Russo under pressure from Brian Gravel with 8 laps to go. Russo up the track. Gravel trying to find a way underneath down the back straightaway, but Russo's going to shut the door. You can see Gravel is all over the back bumper. It's very tough to pass here at Stafford. Seven to go. Coming back to 6. Carter Russo still hanging on to the 5th spot right there. Up in front of them, Chris Smith trying to take away the 2nd spot from his teammate Brandon Elvis. And Mark Keteman through turns 3 and 4 comes to 5 laps to go. 5 to go for Mark Keteman. Trying to get around Logan Drumheller in the 5 to put him 1 lap down. Drumheller not making it easy, though. Keteman losing a little bit of ground here. We've got 4 laps to go now at the line. Keteman starting to lose a little bit of that lead. Might be just backing it off, knowing that he does not have much more to the finish. And this time by, it'll be 3 laps to go for Mark Keteman. 3 to go for the number 2. We look at Carter Russo and Brian Gravel back behind. They're still battling for position. Up front, popsicle sticks up in the air for Mark Keteman. 2 more times around here at Stafford. We have been green from the get-go. Mark Keteman took the lead from Carter Russo early there into turn 1 on the outside lane. And he's led from the get-go. At one point, his lead was 3.6 seconds. It now sits at 2 seconds, and the white flag is out. One more lap to go here at Stafford. Into turns 1 and 2, Logan Drumheller gets the boot. Drumheller got shuffled out of line there. Not going to make a difference, though. Mark Keteman down into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, up and out of the corner. Mark Keteman going to pick up win number 8 here in the Lead of the Pack Super Series at Stafford. Back behind him, Carter Russo ends up hanging on to the 5th spot. Brandon Elvis 2nd, Chris Smith 3rd, Zach Murphy 4th, Carter Russo 5th, Brian Gravel 6th, Jeremiah Woods Jr. 7th, Brady Cox 8th, Caleb Thompson 9th, Logan Drumheller 10th, Brandon Kelly 11th, Justin Coleman 12th, and James Pileski, your 13th place finisher. So let's see what our top 3 finishers have to say. We'll start with our 3rd place finisher here tonight, Chris Smith. Just realized we're in the broadcast waiting room. We'll hop up to the booth. We were about to get bombarded with voices there, but nonetheless, up in the broadcast booth for the 2nd time here tonight, Chris Smith, you got a copy?
Yes, sir, I got you.
Alrighty, well, 3rd place here tonight. You and Brandon Elvis sat behind Carter Russo for quite some time, and finally he was able to get the move to the inside, and you've followed suit right behind. Just looked really tough to pass here tonight. Didn't quite have enough to get around your teammate Brandon there at the end.
Yeah, man, it's just it's hard to pass here to begin with. So stacked on top of each other. Good win to Mark and good run Brandon. 2 podiums back to back, so I'll take it.
Yeah, definitely a good run tonight for the 80 machine. 2 podium finishes, like you said. 2 good races, honestly. 1 caution throughout the whole 125 lap evening. So pretty good racing. Who do you have to thank for a 3rd place finish here in race number 2?
Yeah, thanks to my wife for letting me do this. Say hi to my dad. He's always watching. Elvis Coleman Racing, Chastain Law Firm, Coastal Performance Shop, Barry Elvis Performance Fabrication. Thank you for putting on all the broadcast, and Coleman for keeping the cars nice and good looking all year.
Yeah, you definitely had some pretty good looking 80 machines this season. Congratulations to you, Chris, on a 3rd place run here tonight in the Super Late Models.
Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Now to talk to a word from the 2nd place finisher up into the broadcast booth. Brandon Elvis, you got a copy?
Hey, Winston.
Alrighty, well, 2nd place here in race number 2 of the evening. You sat behind Carter Russo there for quite some time. Mark Keteman got out to a pretty big advantage, but it looked tough to get around that 21, and finally you were able to make the move to the inside, but Keteman was too far out at that point. Caution flag never came out, had to settle for 2nd.
Yeah, I kind of sat there and rode behind Russo there a little bit too long. I should have got aggressive a little earlier and just went on around him. I was trying my best to race clean and be nice, you know what I mean? But just waited too long. I think we could probably pace Keteman there at the end. I know he was kind of he backed off, kind of taking his time with the lap car there. But yeah, if a caution would have came out, we probably would have been able to be competitive at least. I don't know. Being out front and having clean air, and we were having to race a little hard to get around Russo there. So I don't know. I guess we'll never know.
Yeah, it was definitely looked tough to pass here tonight, and it looked like just a tough racetrack to get around. Stafford usually is, and then when you throw the Super on top of it, these cars here tend to be pretty tricky. But still a good run for the 54 machine here tonight. Backed up your win earlier on with a 2nd place finish in the Supers. Who do you have to thank for 2 podium finishes?
Yeah, Coleman Design, Chestnut Hill, Burials Performance, Coastal Performance, my team at ECR. Thanks to my wife, mom, dad, everybody that watches, tunes in for us, and thanks to you for putting this on for us.
Yes, sir. It's been a fun season. Congratulations to you, Brandon, on 2 podium finishes here tonight. 2nd place in the Supers. We'll talk to you later. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. We're going to try to get one at Lanier. We need to get a win before the season's over with here in the Super.
Yes, sir. You're going to be one to watch out for. 150 laps next week. Hopefully you can make something happen.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. All right, and now to talk to our winner here tonight. Once again, win number 8 on the season. Mark Keedeman up in the booth. You got a copy.
I do.
Alrighty, well, we talked to Carter pre-race, and he said that his goal was just to keep you behind him, and that all went out the window in turn 1 when he drove it in on the top and ended up with the lead out of 2.
Yeah, I mean, the green came out and he never went. So I went, and that was all she wrote, really. I mean, and then I guess he just decided to start riding or whatever. I mean, I don't know. You have to save a little bit, but I feel like everybody else, they're saving way too hard. I don't understand it.
Yeah, there's definitely a line to saving. I was guilty of that at one point, saving too much and then just putting myself too behind at the end. Kind of gotten better at saving the tires while also keeping track position. That's what you got to do in these super late models. You figured it out, Mark. You've won a couple big races, and you've won a lot of races here in the Leave the Pack Super Series, including tonight. Who do you have to thank for win number 8?
I got to thank K Cars, Race Cars, Clive Power Equipment, Justin Brooks Designs, Coleman Designs. I don't know if I said Clive Power Equipment, but Clive Power Equipment, Friesen Performance, Topsoil Landscapes, my mom, and everybody that watches me race these races. And thank you to Wade and you for putting this deal on for us. And we're looking forward to next week, and hopefully we can snag a win there again to close out the championship.
Yeah, it would definitely be good to go out with a bang. You're going to have to do it from the rear, as you've won the last 2 weeks now, but it would definitely be cool to see that 2 machine come from the back with 150 laps at linear and make something happen in the last race of the season. But nonetheless, Mark, congratulations to you on another victory here in the Supers, and we wish you luck in the finale week next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yep. Alrighty, folks, that was your winner here tonight, Mark Keedeman. Second place, Brandon Elvis. Third place, Chris Smith. Zach Murphy comes home 4th. Carter Russo 5th. Brian Grable 6th. Jeremiah Woods Jr. 7th. Brady Cox 8th. Caleb Thompson comes home 9th. Logan Drumheller 10th. Brandon Kelly 11th. Justin Coleman 12th. And your field rounds out with James Pileski in the 93. That's going to do it for us here tonight on the WD Broadcasting Network. Folks, I appreciate everybody who tuned in to this point. Thank you guys for watching. And we'll see you guys back next week for the finale week for the Leave the Pack iRacing League in Season 2. Cannot believe it. We are already at this point, but we are, and we're excited to get this season over and get next season underway. So thank you guys for watching one more time. I am your host, Winston Deal, signing it off from the WD Broadcasting Network. Peace out.